Hey guys, Nestler Magic here, and the spoilers for Dominaria will not stop, and neither will I. I mean, ignore the fact that they did already stop, but ya boy playing catch-up. Speaking of catch-up, my nose finally stopped bleeding, and I'm not dead, so let's jump into it. We've got Sunbathing Root. Voila, it's a 2-cost 2/2 green lizard with domain 4, the activated ability that costs 4. Until end of turn, it gets +1/+1 for each basic land type among lands you control, activate only once per turn. It's just more domain filler, it's not that good. Next up, Phyrexian Warhorse. 4 cost 3/3 in black, and Phyrexian Horse, of course, and now Phyrexian is an official subtype. Probably was before, but they're really doing it up. And it has Kicker 1 white, and when it enters battlefield, if it was kicked, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. And if you pay 1 generic, you can sack another creature, and it gains +2/+1 until end of turn. That is actually potentially insanely powerful. Sack outlets that cost 0 are very dangerous, and ones that cost 1 are a little wild, especially when you don't require it to be tapped. So, I mean, you got death triggers and stuff. This is kind of actually something you don't want in the game right after rotation. It's just too dangerous for the next, 4 sets that come out? So, next up, Shield Wall Sentinel. It's a 4-drop 1/3 colorless golem with Defender, and when it enters battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with Defender, reveal it, put it under your hand, then shuffle. Wow, that's like the Angel Fetcher, except better, except that it's a 1/3 for 4, so not really. But boy, you can go get anything, which still isn't very good for 4. I don't see this being the new Commander card, but it's certainly interesting. Next up, the Elder Dragon War. It's a 4-cost red read ahead saga with double red there. 1 is it deals 2 damage to each creature and each opponent. Okay, big ol' sweeper for 4. And then 2, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards. 1 is very skippable, of course, by the way, in case you don't want to do that. So you got your little, typical red Wheel of Fortune there. And then 3 is create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. So if you want to do red thing number 1, do it. If you want to do number 2, do it. Otherwise, skip right to 3. But if you start at 1, you have to do 2. That's what it is. That's how it works. Next up, Canción de Amor de la Noche y la Dia, which I believe is Song of Love of the Night and the Day. So it's a 3-cost white saga with, of course, read ahead, and you and target opponent draw 2 cards. And then 2, create a 1/1 white bird creature token with flying, and 3, put a 1/1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. All I gotta say is great, wonderful card, cool, but compare this to Luminarch Aspirant, and you'll see how absolutely off a cliff the power level's gone. They've gone insane. Hopefully we're back to normal, but we all know what sets are still legal, so that's obviously not true. So next up, the Weatherseed Treaty. Another read-ahead 3-cost saga. This one's green. Search your library for a basic land card, put it on the battlefield tap, then shuffle. You probably wouldn't want to skip that. Then 2, create a 1/1 green sapperling creature token. I could see you skipping. And 3, domain. Target creature you control gets +X/+X and gains trample until end of turn, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Domain is so utterly dead on arrival, it just kind of kills this card. Next up, Knight of Dawn's Light. It's 2-cost white 2/2 human knight with first strike, and if you would gain life, you gain that much life +1 instead. Nice. And if you pay 2, and you can do this unlimited amount of times, by the way, Knight of Dawn's Light gets +1/+1 till end of turn, so 50% fire breathing, which is right where it should be. Of course, it boosts toughness too. Yeah, this is just a solid card, especially with first strike. I mean, this thing defensively is just bonkers, and you'd never really want to block it, but because of the boost, you'd also not want to not block it. Next up, Mossbeard Ancient. It's a 7-cost 7/7 tree folk with trample, and when it enters battlefield, you gain 5 life. I feel like we've seen 30 different versions of pretty much this card. It's your typical big boy draft winner. Next up, Aaron. I guess he was tired of being called Aaron. So he's a 3-cost double white black legendary creature for Phyrexian human 3/3. Oh, and he's Aaron Benali's Rune. Menace, and if you pay 1 of each mana color there, 1 black, 1 white, I should say, tap him, sack another creature, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Yes, Watsy, that is what it should take to put a counter on every creature you control, not, oh, my turn came around again. Oh, I gained life 1 time. As you see, things are back to an appropriate power level. Next up, Vesuvan Duplomancy. Oh boy, I saw this when I copied it to the folder and just saw the name, and I saw that it was a mythic, but I haven't read it yet. But this should be interesting because obviously it's a cloner of some type, spell cloner, object cloner, I don't know. I'm purposely not looking at the bottom here. Okay, let's see. So it's a 4-cost blue enchantment, non-legendary. Whenever you cast a spell that targets only a single artifact or creature you control, okay, that's pretty narrow, create a token that's a copy of that artifact or creature, except it's not legendary. Okay, so that's powerful but narrow. It probably still should have been legendary, but okay. Well, in blue, I mean, what are you going to do? Pin your own creature down or bounce it back to hand? I wouldn't really recommend it. But in blue-white ambush boosty boy, oh yeah, but that's not usually a constructed-based strategy, but I think that'll be the first thing I do, because I just like blue stuff that doubles because it's funny, usually because it's like so comically broken, like my current unbeatable deck. Well, 2 if you count Angel Photocopier. But yeah, we're going to see what we can get rolling with this and some other things. Next up, Valiant Veteran. It's a 2-cost white 2/2 core soldier, and other soldiers you control get +1/+1. I thought the core were from Zendikar. Alrighty then, so if you pay 5, exile it from your graveyard and put a 1/1 counter on each soldier you control, but only soldiers, but not humans, and not warriors. I wasn't paying enough attention to the tribals, because they're just your typical boring, human soldier warrior Phyrexian stuff, but I don't know, this probably does something. I mean, he's also a Lord card, so like, come on, What really sucks is he's not legendary. Anyway, next up we've got, oh god, it's this guy again. Joda, the Unifier. Oh, he's behind it? I'm actually not surprised. He's Mr. Let's Get It Done right there. I'm voting for him in the next election. So yeah, legendary creature, human wizard, in case you're not familiar, one of every color, because duh. And 5/5, so legendary creatures you control, oh god. Get +X/+X, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. I mean, if you put 2 in your deck and you pull 2, that doesn't work so great, but dang. I mean, a universal Lord card that's based on, like, a super type? Or I think just type, anyway, not a subtype. Wow, that ain't playing. Okay, so whenever you cast a legendary spell from your hand, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a legendary non-land card with lesser mana value. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Isn't that literally just Cascade? And put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. Oh, it's Cascade without a mana limit. Well, excuse me. Okay, I mean, yeah, you're not going to get him out. He costs 5. This is only dangerous to non-standard constructed, which is not my problem, nor is it my concern, but... What do you mean, Unifier? Just put him in play. Just have him defeat everyone. If he's just going to summon random stuff. He could be the one-man army. I get it. The whole theme is like, oh, he's recruiting people, but like, come on. That is OP as balls. I mean, it's still not as annoying and easy to pull off as, I forgot the real name, but Rainbow Bridge card. That Keldheim thing. Just free cast something at the beginning of every turn or whatever the hell it does. Yeah, I'll take this over that any day, but, it's still annoying. Stuff like this is annoying, but you're not going to get it in play, so yeah. Get ready for Historic to be ruined to an even worse point after he comes out, though. Need I remind you, nothing rotates out of Historic. Next up, Tatiova, Steward of Tides. Oh, I love Merfolk. Oh boy, and Druids, and Legendary Creatures. And people who play this color combination. This is just everything all together. Haven't even read it yet. All right. So, double green, single blue. Okay, that's a little tight. 3/3. And land creatures, no. Nope, sorry, land creatures shouldn't be a thing, and we're all sick of it, so good riddance to that trash. But sure, land creatures you control have haste, and whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, if you control 7 or more lands, up to 1 target land you control becomes a 3/3 elemental creature. With haste, it's still a land. There's no time limit on that, which actually confuses me because of the rules about that, but sure, okay. Whatever, get board wiped and lose all your lands along with it, I don't care. Go for it. You deserve it, you merfolk playing douche. Next up, Rivaz of the Claw. He's a 3-cost black-red 3/3 legendary creature, Viashino Warlock, with Menace. And if you tap him, add 2 mana in any combination of colors, spend this mana only to cast dragon creature spells. Still not nearly as toxic as treasures, and let's see, once during each of your turns you may cast a dragon creature spell from your graveyard. That is ridiculous. And whenever you cast a dragon creature spell from your graveyard, it gains when this creature dies, exile it. Oh good, you can only do it twice. Well, that makes it all better, doesn't it? You still have to pay for it, but like, come on, there's some dragons that I want to stay dead. You either target the big dragon or you target him. You might not have enough kill power to kill both. I don't like this card. I think it's a little much. Plus 3/3 with Menace on top of it. Anyway, next up, Tail Swipe. Are we just on Ixalan now? Since when are there dinosaurs? They gotta calm down with the dinosaurs. Okay, somebody there has an unhealthy obsession. We need to have an intervention. It's probably Mark. So anyway, 1 cost. Oh, is this a force fight? Hope not. 1 cost green instant. Choose target creature you control and target creature you don't control. If you cast a spell during your main phase, the creature you control gets +1/+1 till end of turn. And those creatures each fight each other, yeah. Well, at least it's not one of those fake fights where you just do, damage equal to your power. They had too many of those, and honestly, I think 1 is too many, at least for the mana value they were at before. But that was a while ago, but still, this is 1. I mean, geez. I mean, you gotta give green something, but if I see 2 more of these in like all of 2023, it's gonna get ugly. Next up, Electrostatic Infantry. I've said it before and I'll say it again, the best way to fight the Phyrexians is to tase them in the nuts. So it's a 2-cost red 1/2 creature dwarf wizard with trample and probably also height envy or some sort of complex. He looks kind of angry about it. And then whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a 1/1 counter on Electrostatic Infantry and you are absolutely compensating. 1/1 counter permanent prowess for 2 in the uncommon slot with trample in a color that's not supposed to get trample. Yeah, next time spell spamming Is It comes around, which I think I recall is now. You know, fake Is It, real Is It, we all know. Come on, it's blue-red, come on. Yeah, this guy's going to be on the front of it, and he's going to be incredibly annoying. They can just bounce permanents you own back to hand, and then he gets huge, and then you can't block him, can't do anything about it, and then counterspell whatever you do to stop him, and win with 1 card. I hate decks like that, and so do you if you're not completely delusional and living a lie. Next up, Academy Wall. It's a 3-cost 0/5 wall with Defender. And whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, here we go again. You may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. This ability triggers only once per turn. Okay, yeah, typical. Nothing too special. You know, just an enabler for that archetype. Next up, another Mythic. Remember, there's not that many of them. Rith Liberated Primeval. Ooh. Now, it looks like the Phyrexians are going full Skyrim, so I'm surprised this isn't like a Phyrexian Undead Dragon, but I don't know. Somebody, I guess, is liberating him, I guess not from, like, death. That begs a question, where was he? What was he doing? Also, why haven't I heard of him? They're retconning dragons into the storyline like it's, like, Saw 15 or something. What are the Saw movies even on at this point? I think canonically during the first movie, now you pan a little further to, like, the right or left, I was there. Anyway, he's a 3-cost, 2 generic, 1 red, 1 green, 1 white, 5/5 legendary creature dragon with flying and ward 2. Dragons ought to have ward, just saying. They're magic resistant in most games. And other dragons you control have ward too, nice. And at the beginning of your end step, if a creature or planeswalker an opponent controlled was dealt excess damage this turn, create a 4/4 red dragon creature token with flying. Ooh. Okay, instead of excess damage, I feel like it should have been excess combat damage. But, sure. I mean, if you're paying this much for it. He's appropriately powerful and hard to play at those colors, so, sure. Next up, Niall, probably, Avazoa Aeronaut. So he's a legendary creature elf scout, 2/4, and yeah, his scouting is really just hiding from the Phyrexians and flying, and then domain. Whenever he deals combat damage to a player, they will be thoroughly embarrassed, and also look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of basic land types among lands you control. Put up to 1 of them on the top of your library, and the rest on the bottom in a random order. So it does interrupt your next draw, which is a big distinct difference from just plain drawing a card. Then if there are 5 basic land types among lands you control, draw a card. Oh, I fully expected that to just say win the game. It's a domain enabler, but they're just never going to get it to happen. Too much control in the game, even after rotation. Next up, Balmor, Battle Mage Captain, or as I like to call him, Fake Is It guy. Because every plane has to have a Fake Is It. So, he's a bird wizard, legendary creature, 1/3 for 2, you know what colors it is, flying, and whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creatures you control get +1/+0 and gain trample. Who at WotC has this just unending need to make this color combination the most obnoxious, overpowered, double, triple, quadruple prowess nightmare from hell? I mean, I get it. If you're running spell spamming, you probably don't have that many creatures, but I guarantee somehow you could pull this off. I hate everything about this. This is like ultra, triple, super wide prowess with trample on top in maybe a flying archetype. This is just absolutely terrible. Holy hell, they made it legendary so you can't have 2 in play. Until you clone it. Well, thank God for that. So next up, Leaf Crown Visionary. It's a 2-cost green, 1/1 elf druid. Other elves you control get +1/+1 because that's what they do. Elf Ball is toxic. If you play it, you're a dick. Whenever you cast an elf spell, you're still a dick. You may pay 1 green, and if you do, draw a card, but you're still a dick. Yep, overpowered crap. Next up, I am not kidding. This is the image. The 1 Portuguese card, and now it's unreadable for 2 reasons. So here's the real version. Luckily, it's been long enough. It's a 3-cost Braids' Frightful Return. I love how they still insist that that's a valid way to punctuate it or spell it. That they're absolutely incorrect about that. Anyway, read ahead saga, cost 3 great. You may sack a creature. If you do, each opponent discards a card. Okay. You might read past that if you don't need it. And then 2, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. And 3, target, God, that artwork. I just realized that. Anyway, target opponent may sacrifice a non-land, non-token permanent. If they do, you lose 2 life and draw a card. So, nothing too special here, but it's kind of neat. Next up, Thran Portal. Wait a minute. I should probably read the story. I mean, I'm not going to, but I probably should. So it's a land gate, not legendary, which I guess heavily implies that there's not more than one. So Thran Portal enters the battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or fewer other lands, okay? And as it enters the battlefield, choose a basic land type. It is the chosen type in addition to its other types. Hello. And mana abilities of Thran Portal cost an additional 1 life to activate. A single color pain land? What? This card is like astonishingly awful, but they threw it in just to power Domain. Well, this will settle right in about $2 after this comes out. So next up, Sheoldred's Restoration. Yeah, if her body gets wrecked, you just kind of build her a new one. I guess that's what they do. So it's a 4-cost black sorcery with kicker, 3 with one of those being white. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Ooh, a little much for 4. If it was kicked, you gain life equal to that card's mana value. Not worth it. Otherwise, you lose that much life. Okay, maybe worth it. Exile Sheoldred's Restoration. Yeah, that ain't going in your graveyard. They know they've completely broken spell recursion and like flashback granting, all this other crap, to the point where anything really good, you can't let them keep it in their graveyard. They really should just not do that, not power ramp that hard. But that's the sad state of things right now. That's a story spotlight card too, you probably could have guessed that, but next up there's another one, Extinguish the Light. Oh no. A 4-cost double black instant, destroy target creature or planeswalker. If its mana value is 3 or less, you gain 3 life. Spoiler alert. Robo Sleeper Salajani kills Jaya. That leaked actually before any of the cards did. Next up, Vodalian Hexcatcher. It's a 2-cost blue 1/1 creature merfolk wizard. I hate merfolk. Flash other merfolk you control, get +1/+1. I hate everything about that, especially that specific combination. And sack a merfolk, counter target non-creature spell unless its controller pays 1. Oh, that's annoying, but you know what? You can counter whatever the hell you want as long as it kills one of your merfolk. I'm fine with that. Next up, Linebreaker Baloth. It's 5-cost, double green 4/5, creature beast with enlist, and it can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less. Usually an incredibly annoying feature, but it costs 5 and it's not that good. Next up, Terra Sunder. Oh yes, get him. It's a 2-cost green instant with kicker to total mana, one of them being black. There's no good way to phrase that. And exile target artifact or enchantment. If this spell was kicked, exile target non-land permanent instead. Ooh. Yeah, so just naturalize on steroids. Okay. Next up, Baird Reclutatore di Argivia. Probably not how you say it, but you know what? Italy should probably just give up and do Spanish. I think I might be un poco biased on that one. So anyway, legendary creature, human soldier, 1 red, 1 white, 2/2, and at the beginning of your end step, if you control a creature with power greater than its base power, create a power greater than its base power. Oh, so just boosted in any way. Basically modified, but okay. I mean, it's a little more generous because it could be a passive boost. Create a 1/1 white soldier creature token. So in other words, just do that. I can't imagine you would almost ever have that happen. And it's a recruiter, not recluse, by the way, in case you didn't figure that out. Yeah, I don't think they're going to beat the Phyrexians with 1/1s, but, you know, good for them for trying. Next up, it's Garna, Bloodfist of Keld. And, I mean, really? Like, you think German's a silly language? What the heck is Agnequalvolta? Is that actually the word whenever? At least they got cooking down. Language, maybe not. But anyway, it's a double red, single black, +1, so 4-cost, legendary creature, human berserker. And whenever another creature you control dies, draw a card if it was attacking. Otherwise, Garna, Bloodfist of Keld deals 1 damage to each opponent. So, was attacking, I'm not sure how long that extends, I assume until the end of turn, well, I don't know, combat resolution, I'm not too clear on that, I don't know if I've ever had that rule come up. But it's a little specific for a 4-cost that's harsh, even with it being a 4/3. Yeah, I don't know. You can probably sack it in the middle of combat, which means she's probably actually more powerful to the Phyrexians, which she's a human berserker, so not one of the Phyrexians, in fact she's killing a Phyrexian in the other artwork. Hey, speaking of that, Phyrexian Missionary. Not much of a sleeper agent if you're this easy to spot, but okay. Oh, maybe the Phyrexians, like, they just can't shut up about their completion crap? They're kind of like vegans. So it's 2-cost white, 2/3 Phyrexian human cleric. Whoa, triple type, nice. And it has kicker, 1 plus black, lifelink, and when it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, return target creature card from your graveyard to your hand. Ooh, free reser. Pretty darn powerful for a 2/3, I gotta say. So, last for today, we've got Maria, Scholar of Antiquity. This isn't the time to be studying old stuff, it's time to absolutely whoop on the Phyrexians, but you do you. The flavor text, by the way, is Wife Your Artifice. Is it not also of this world? And then, like, 5 seconds later, you've basically got, Space Japan. You got Kamigawa. That's a slippery slope, and boy, did Space Japan slide down it. Can't wait to see what they do with the return to Ixalan. I'm sure the robots will have, like, machine guns. I mean, they'll just go full Digimon, if you could even imagine that. It's Wizards of the Coast. If you're having trouble imagining that, then you're the one with the problem, because they absolutely would do that. Don't tell me they wouldn't. Anyway, this absolute gem is a 3-cost red-green 3/3. Tap an untapped non-token artifact you control and add 1 green to your mana pool. And then tap 2 untapped non-token artifacts you control. Exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. Ooh, pretty powerful. Not overpowered, just neat, interesting, and you might be able to get something going, but slow enough that your opponent has time to breathe and react. What a concept. I really do like the power level of the set overall. Very refreshing. This set, I'm not even joking, there's a couple really outlier cards, but this really, really suggests, or maybe even hints, maybe even opens up the door that it's a possibility that they're dropping the power level of Standard, and it is about damn time. And the card complexity, and the mechanic confusion, and just, we're back to OG Magic. If you didn't intend to do anything with Magic the Gathering or Touch Arena or anything, I would suggest maybe at least trying to step on there to draft this a couple times, because this will be so reminiscent of like 6, 7, 8 years ago in Magic. I'm not going to pass up the opportunity. I'm already hoarding coins, stuffing them in my cheeks like a squirrel, getting ready to hibernate so that when this crap comes out, I can actually maybe have some fun playing Magic again. Wouldn't that be a concept? So with that, I bid you adieu. I will hopefully finish the spoilers. Probably not. I actually don't even know how many are left. I feel like I'm on about card 500 at this point, but whatever, it's like a 281 set. So, hey, we'll wrap it up in the near future, but stay subscribed if you don't want to miss it. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.